We had hope for America when we were young. We assumed that if we worked as hard as our parents, we would have roughly the same standard of living. We used to believe that we would be able to own a home, get a college degree, buy a new car, and afford everyday expenses like our parents and grandparents did, but living conditions have drastically deteriorated since then. The cost of virtually everything has skyrocketed to unprecedented levels, but our wages have not. Things in the United States have gotten dramatically worse since we were kids, and now we're the ones dealing with a broken economy that causes millions of families to struggle to make ends meet every month. What the hell happened to our country? That's why we've decided to compile some startling statistics comparing how life used to be a few decades ago to how we live now. 1. Americans born in 1970 have seen their purchasing power plummet by a staggering 653.34% over the last 52 years. $1 in 1970 would be equivalent to approximately $7.50 today, implying that current prices are 7.53 times higher than average prices since 1970. 2. Adults born in the 1980s have seen the value of the dollar fall by 154.73% over the last 42 years. $1 in 1980 had the purchasing power of about $3.55 today. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index, today's prices are 3.55 times higher than average prices since 1980. 3. Over the last 32 years, the purchasing power of the dollar has fallen by 123.64%. In other words, $1 in 1990 would be equivalent to approximately $2.24 today. Right now, $1 can only buy 44.643 of what it could in the early 1990s. 4. Meanwhile, over the last 5 decades, housing prices have risen much faster than wages. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, housing prices in 2022 will be 707.68% higher than in 1970. Since then, housing has experienced an average annual inflation rate of 4.10%. Simply put, a $100,000 house in 1970 would cost $107,676 in 2022. 5. The median home price in 1980 was only $68,700, implying that housing prices have increased by 262.44% since then. Since then, an equivalent purchase of $100,000 in the 1980s would cost around $362,437 in 2022. 6. In comparison to home prices in the 1990s today, American adults spend 128.49% more on housing than they did 36 years ago, when the median price of a home was $123,000, implying that they must spend $306,000 more for the same home. 7. On the other hand, annual income increases have barely kept pace with inflation in recent decades. After adjusting for inflation, overall goods prices have risen 67% since 2000. However, since 2000, the median American household income has increased by only 7%. That amounts to only 0.3% per year. 8. Car prices have also risen dramatically over the last 5 decades. In 1970, the average price for a new car was $3,450. In 1990, Americans spent $16,950 compared to $7,200 in 1988. In contrast, if you want to buy a new car this year, you'll have to pay an eye-watering $47,000 on average. 9. Meanwhile, the price of a gallon of gasoline has never been higher. Did you know that in 1970, a gallon of gasoline cost only 36 cents in the United States? Gasoline prices are currently hovering around the $5 mark, but experts predict they will rise as the country deals with a fuel shortage. 10. Food prices have skyrocketed, with those at the very bottom of the economic food chain bearing the brunt of the brunt. Back in the 1970s, an American could buy a loaf of bread for 25 cents. By the 1980s, prices had risen to 50 cents. By the 1990s, prices had already risen to 70 cents, and by 2022, we will be paying 10 times what our parents and grandparents did. For more such informative videos, subscribe to our channel and like the video. See you in the next video.